Hi, Jonathan York from Bay Financial Partners, looking at investment markets. Still very interesting times out there for investment markets. We got the news this morning that President Trump is going to look to withdraw the US from the Iran nuclear deal. That's just going to be interesting to see how that sort of plays through. He's looking at reimposing sanctions back on Iran, and it's just going to be interesting, one, to see the sort of reaction from Iran and what sort of countermeasures they employ. But also as well the reaction from the rest of the world as well. Certainly Trump has sort of surprised a few people over the last sort of 3 to 6 months with his sort of negotiations with North Korea, and getting around now to a place in time where they're actually going to have a meeting between the US and North Korea. That probably seemed sort of very unlikely sort of 2 to 3 years ago, but he has sort of paved the way for that, and it's just going to be very interesting now to see how he can sort of play through on the Iran situation. Immediate reaction to that has been certainly quite a bit of increased volatility in the oil market. On oil, it's down around 2%, back below that sort of $70 on WTI. Now, obviously, we're just going to have to wait to see if this sort of escalates into a full-blown conflict. US data still reasonably encouraging. The employment data was maybe a little bit on the soft side in terms of what they were looking for on the non-farm payrolls, but the unemployment rate is sort of edging down further, and it's just going to be interesting now to see how that sort of plays through in terms of the sort of Fed talk. People are still looking for certainly a hike in June, one in September, and then it's just going to be interesting to see the reaction of those sort of recent hikes and whether we get a further hike in December as well. If you look at the dot plot, most analysts now are looking for a further hike in December, and then 3 more in 2019. Obviously, the big news last week was Apple's results and the increased share buyback, another $100 billion coming back on top of the sort of 250 they've already announced. They are some pretty big numbers, and it's just going to be interesting to see how the sort of Apple share price trades on the back of it. Initial reaction was pretty good, helped as well by the fact that Warren Buffett had also purchased quite a few shares in the first quarter. President Trump still obviously has the personal sideshow circus going on as well, with the Stormy Daniels issues, and also the investigation by Special Counsel Mueller as well. It's just going to be interesting to see how they sort of play through. Got Giuliani sort of entering the fray as well and coming out with some interesting comments that appeared to conflict what the president has said. Giuliani then has to sort of backtrack and said, actually, I'm still getting up to speed, not really quite sure what the sort of events are, what I'm sort of saying, which just adds a further sort of level of sort of fog and mist on the whole proceedings. I suppose the only sort of thing that is sure is that this is going to run for quite some time yet. Brexit's still rumbling along, but again, we really need to start seeing some sort of concrete evidence that the proposals are going to get through the UK Parliament. As yet, there's a big question mark on that. New Zealand has become up towards sort of end of June and sort of end of KiwiSaver, so you need to check those balances to make sure you have contributed enough to get that maximum tax credit. And if you haven't, then what sort of numbers you need to put in just to try and get that maximum tax credit. If you're unsure on that, call us on 0800 867 323. Also, as well, this week we see the first Reserve Bank meeting with the new Reserve Bank governor. It's just going to be very interesting to see if he sort of stamps his authority on that and what sort of comes out in his sort of press briefing. There is a fixed interest offering as well in the New Zealand market, Christchurch Airport. If you're interested in that, call us on 0800 867 323 or go to the website www.bayfinancialpartners. Yeah, as discussed, if you are looking for income options, there are plenty of alternatives available out there. And if you're interested in discussing what's available, so call us on 0800 867 323 or go to the website www.bayfinancialpartners.co.nz for lots of interesting articles. We look forward to speaking to you soon.